introduction, and this has been a real terrific breakfast, and I've had the opportunity to meet so many of you. I look forward to meeting more of you before I leave this afternoon. And I'd also like to say that it's great to see the General Herring, who I will be seeing next week as he travels up to Northern Virginia for our Public Safety Roundtable. The Women's Caucus theme for this breakfast, "We Won't Stop Now, Keep Women Moving Forward," is a timely call to action. According to the Women's Legislative Network of the National Conference of State Legislators, women make up about 24% of state legislators nationwide. We are not doing as well in Virginia, where less than 18% of our legislators are women. And of course, we have no women serving Virginia at the national level, at least not yet. And no women has been elected statewide in Virginia since 1989, when Mary Sue Terry won a re-election for Attorney General. The progress of women moving forward in elected law enforcement positions has also been very slow. In America, the first women who ran for sheriff in 1978 ran in a contested election. Her name was Kathy Crumley, and she won a 1976 election in Belmont County, Ohio. Sheriff Crumley was 6'1" and 275 pounds, and people actually wondered if she could do the job. Last year, I won a contested Democratic Party caucus by an almost 2-to-1 margin, and went on to defeat 3 male candidates with 54% of the vote in the general election. At my 5'5" and not 75-pound frame, at least some progress is being made in that area. But nationwide, women only represent 13% of sheriffs. Virginia's first woman sheriff took office in 1994, and we haven't made much progress in the last 20 years. There are only 4 women sheriffs among the 123 sheriffs in the Commonwealth. That's just 3%, far below the national average. But looking on the bright side, the 4 women sheriffs are around the Commonwealth: Arlington, Fairfax, Petersburg, and Rappahannock, proving women can be elected sheriff outside the more liberal Northern Virginia counties. The Fairfax County and City Sheriff's Office is the largest in Virginia. I have over 500 sworn officers and about 100 civilian employees. Before I was elected sheriff, I was a captain, which, for those of you that are not familiar with the hierarchy of the sheriff's office, the captain is 3 ranks below the sheriff. What made me decide to take the leap of faith that I could actually run for and win this position in an off-year election? When you first consider running for office, the most important question is not, can I win, but why do I want this position? Running for elected office, as those of you in this room have done and can attest, is hard. Much harder than anyone can appreciate from a distance. If you don't have a strong why, you won't make it to the finish, and I believe you won't win. So why did I run? Some people assume that's just because I had 26 years of service with the sheriff's office, but it goes farther back than that. I am of the age, and we won't go there, but where as a small child I was bused to school to promote racial equality. I was threatened every day. I saw other children beaten. In my later years, I saw the effect of domestic violence on people who were very close to me. These experiences, as I was growing up, led to a strong desire to protect the underdog, to try to make things right for people, to work to make sure people were treated with dignity, and that people who broke the laws and took advantage of others were held accountable. Law enforcement was a good fit. But as we all know, to make a difference, you have to have a seat at the table. And being sheriff means not only are you at the table, but you are at the head of the table. It means being in a position to affect changes and lead changes. When I ran for office, I wanted to change our promotion practices to make them fair and transparent to all applicants. We women all know that studies across all types of professions show that promotion practices as written can appear to be free from bias, but as implemented, well, somehow certain people just don't seem to get promoted. Year after year, person after person, sometimes this is intentional, but many times this promotion ceiling is a result of unconscious stereotyping. One of the first changes I made as sheriff was to our promotion practices. And I'm pleased to say that among the excellent candidates who were promoted, we now have a new captain, who is a black female. Only the second black woman in the history of the Sheriff's Office, in the 271 history of the Sheriff's Office, to achieve that rank. Along with these promotions are the clearer standards for advancement comes a renewed energy and enthusiasm in the staff. An area where change will be harder to make is in the mental health treatment of our inmates. This was another major issue in my campaign. And of course, soon after I was elected, we were all shocked and saddened by the tragedy that struck Senator Creed Deeds and his family. The ugly truth is that jails have become the default healthcare provider for the mentally ill. Statewide, 1 in 4 inmates have mental health issues, and of those, half qualify for a diagnosis of serious mental illness. The number of inmates with identified mental illness has grown 30% since 2008. The impact on our jails is profound. In Fairfax, our deputies are trained to screen for symptoms of mental illness when a person is processing into our jail. We call in the professionals from the Community Services Board to assess the inmates and recommend appropriate housing, care, and medication. But our deputies are not therapists or social workers. The best we can do at this time is to keep mentally ill inmates safe while they are with us. This is our job. But is that enough? I submit we have to be more creative. Small changes make huge differences. For example, for decades, the Sheriff's Office released prisoners at 1 minute after midnight on the day their jail term ended. While releasing people in the middle of the night was convenient for the Sheriff's Office, because that's the time it's fairly quiet, it made no sense for many inmates, especially those with mental health issues who had no transportation, no shelter, and no resources to help them transition safely back into the community. So I changed that policy. Now inmates are released at a more reasonable hour of 8 o'clock in the morning. I am committed to finding additional ways to improve our options for handling people with mental illness. Our ability to divert the mentally ill from incarceration requires community support and involvement. We need to find ways to make sure that the progress some inmates make while in the jail environment with the structure and medical support is maintained once they are released back into the community. And most importantly, moving forward in improving the treatment of mentally ill persons requires leadership that will take real action and provide the money to put in place the processes, facilities, and staffing to do more than just warehouse the mentally ill. Unfortunately, this is an area where I cannot unilaterally affect change, but I will work with others to make it happen. So what have I learned in the past 5 months of being an elected official? First, I ran on the platform of change, and it's not easy to change an organization the size of the Fairfax Sheriff's Office. Patience may be a virtue, but it's not naturally in my wheelhouse. I have to cultivate it while continuing to move forward. Second, the public believes that they own me. My face was on all of my campaign signs, and everywhere I go, people recognize me and want to chat. Everyone has an opinion. In fact, just the other day, a resident sent me an outline for a speech he thinks I should give. This is all good. I am their sheriff. Connection to the community is important, and building it before a crisis hits is the best approach. But as all women candidates and elected officials know, the days of running out of the house with no makeup and wearing baggy sweatpants is over. There are so few of us that, as the old TV song goes, everyone knows your name. Third, you need to learn fast that when you're running for office and after you win, who you can trust. Everyone wants to be your friend. Your jokes become funnier, your ideas better. But really, most are just allies for a particular cause on a particular day. You need to align yourself with people who aren't afraid to say, you messed up, or you did good. You need to find the people you can call and complain to, and they won't tell another soul. And finally, especially for women candidates, we have to be supportive of each other. We need to be unified with a powerful message. Remember the statistics that I gave you at the beginning of this talk? If the women in Virginia are to be represented at even the inadequate level as the national statistics report, we have a lot of work to do. If we're going to keep moving forward, we have to stick together. We have to be mentors and speakers of the truth for each other. To keep women moving forward, we must, to paraphrase Gandhi, be the change that we wish to see in the world. Let's leave here on that and begin that change. I thank you all very much.